Hi guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Philip Port. I've been an immigration advisor for more than 20 years. And today we're going to speak about the supporting documents that is required to get the general visit visa. In future videos, we will be speaking about Tier 4 and Tier 1, Tier 2, Tier 4, Tier 5 visas, about the documents needed for them. But today, this is the general visit visa. And I'm going to explain why you need these documents. So, most important, employment letter. You need an employment letter. That shows that you've got a job in your home country. For example, let's say you're from Russia. You need to show that you're in full-time employment. It's unlikely you're going to give up your job, go to the UK, fall on hard times, and be a burden on the state. So you need to show that you've got employment, or you need to show that you're in full-time education, that you're at university. And it's good if you're in the second year, because you're not going to give up your university degree after you've already done 2 years at university. So a university letter, a letter from your university. Now, then, second most important document, evidence that you can support yourself. You need a bank letter with preferably bank statements showing your income, showing that every month you receive your salary on your bank account. That is a big plus. Depending which country you are from, will decide whether you need 6 months bank statements, whether you need 1 month's bank statements, whether you just need a simple bank letter. For example, from Russia, people living in Moscow with good travel history, all they do is they simply supply employment letter, bank letter, hotel booking, and that is fine. They get the visa. But if you're from Bangladesh, India, Philippines, they're going to ask a lot more documents from you, and that is a problem. They do discriminate, unfortunately, the Home Office. If you're a student, you can show your parents' bank letters and show how they got that income, from employment or whatever. You'll need to show how they got that money, and you can have a sponsor letter from your parents only if you're a student. Anybody above 18 who's not a student, you have to be able to show that you can support yourself. So you get a university letter, bank letter, employment letter if you're employed. These are important. Now, let's say you're going with a friend to England and you're married. Show your marriage certificate. You're not going to leave your wife in Russia and overstay in the United Kingdom. Same with children's birth certificates. Very important. If you've got children, include the birth certificates. You're not going to leave your family alone in Russia or Pakistan, India, wherever you're from. Also show property documents. If you own your own home, that's a big plus. If you have a tenancy agreement, it's better to include. I always include, if it's in a foreign language, a summarized translation. And put at the top, summarized translations, because every document that is not in English has to come with a certified translation. So obviously don't translate 4 or 5 pages of a tenancy agreement. Just 3 or 4 points, the most important things: the duration, your names, the landlord, date it was signed, and the amount of rent, and that will be fine on a tenancy agreement. But again, it's much stronger if you've got property documents. Same with a car. You're showing strong ties to Russia if you can show property and car documents. Again, it's where you're from. When I say Russia, if you're from Dagestan or Chechnya, you're high risk of claiming asylum from these regions. So you give a lot more documents from these regions, even from Russia. But if you're from Moscow, much easier. Show evidence that you've traveled. Hopefully you kept your old passports and you've got all your visas in them. If you don't, then you're going to have to show photographs, hotel bookings. You're going to have to show e-tickets that you flew, if you cannot evidence it in your passport. So hopefully you've got all the evidence in your passport. If you don't have it, you need to show evidence that you've traveled. Very important. They're not just going to believe I went to France, Italy if there's no visas in your passport. You also need to include, because everything is uploaded now onto their website, everything is sent to Sheffield in England, and that's where the decisions are made. So every page of your passport must be scanned, not bigger than a 10 megabyte PDF file, and it will be sent to Sheffield, and they can see your travel history there. So all the decisions, the entry clearance officers are not based in Istanbul or Anatolia or Moscow or St. Petersburg anymore. The entry clearance officers are all making decisions in England, and the visa will be issued at the Russian embassy in Moscow if you apply in Russia. Sorry to keep mentioning Russia, but most of my clients are from there. So yeah, you will. They will send the visa with the passport from the Russian embassy to the visa center, but the decision is made in Sheffield. So every page of the passport. In England, we have what we would call a tax statement. In England, maybe a P60. If you've got the equivalent in Russia, it's like a tax statement is a 2NDFL statement. That shows how much tax you have paid in Russia. So include your 2NDFL tax statements. Now, let's say you're employed. Let's get back to the beginning where you've got an employment letter. So let's say you're a sole trader. Include your sole trader certificate. If you don't have staff and you don't have a colleague, you need somebody maybe to sign it, you know, and the letter should be something like that. This is to certify, this is to confirm that, if it was me, Mr. Philip Porter has been employed in this position as a sole trader, trading in immigration services, trading in jewelry, whatever you do. And just get your accountant to sign it. And a little information like about the accountant. I've been the accountant for 2-3 years. You need somebody to sign that letter. In theory, you could sign it yourself, but it's not going to add too much value. But the most important thing is the sole trader agreement with the bank accounts you use for that sole trader agreement, and mention what you know. Explain the situation in the additional information on the application form. So when you get to the end of the application form, there is additional information section. Put there, I'm a sole trader. I use this bank account as my sole trader account. Please see my tax returns for 2020. 2019, something like that. That's what you've got to do just to prove that you are actually a sole trader. There is many pitfalls, so it all depends on your circumstances, what documents I would ask you to supply. So please send me a message if you're not sure about anything. If you like the video, please subscribe, and please press the like button. Thank you very much. Cheers, mate.